What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
We are doing a special podcast.
This is a very special podcast.
We have tried to make this podcast happen for a month or two now.
Yes.
And life has its own kind of ways of saying, nope, it's not the right time. But today, right now, is the right time.
It is the right time, and we are so excited.
We are about to introduce Dan Foster, who is the president and the managing partner of Seven Cellars, which Seven Cellars was founded by professional football icon John Elway and his longtime business partner, Jeff Spurbeck. John Elway owns a bunch of steakhouses, and he wanted to create a wine that would live up to the ideals and be a proud representation of his family's name. And so we are so honored to have Mr. Dan Foster, president of Seven Cellars Wine, with us today.
Yes, and we have Amber on the line too. And Amber, let me get your last name one more time. Tallarico. Okay.
Tallarico.
And then what was your role too? If you could just say that again.
Social media management.
Awesome. Okay, so we have Dan and Amber, and yeah, we are so excited to get into this.
Dan, thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we can't wait to learn about you and Seven Cellars. And
it's my pleasure. Appreciate the time, Nashville Wine Duo, for having us join the podcast, and it's really awesome to have a wine podcast and for us to be able to partner with you guys as an amazing wine company, like you said, called Seven Cellars with John Elway. So I got a lot of fun things to talk about today. So I'm really excited to be joining you.
That's awesome, man. So we're currently drinking the Seven Cellars, the Farm Collection Cab, which is from Paso Robles. So while we chat, we're sipping on the Cabernet. What are you guys going to be sipping on?
So we're starting with the Farm Collection Chardonnay from Arroyo Seco, 100% Chardonnay, 9 months on French oak, beautiful, bright, crisp, clean, easy drinking Chardonnay from a cool growing climate region inside Monterey called Arroyo Seco.
We love your Chardonnay too. We've had that and drank that.
Yes.
So we are fans of the Chard.
That's very good. That's good. Well, there's no discrimination when it comes to wine. White, red, just drink it all. Have a good time.
That's right. That's right.
How we feel.
We would fit in well with you over there.
Yes. So why don't you just dive into a little bit of how you got involved with Seven Cellars and your background. I'd love to hear just how you got and started getting involved in the wine industry, and what you love about wine, and how you bring that passion to your current position.
Thank you. I love everything wine, so I appreciate you having us join and inviting us to your podcast. My career in wine started a while ago. I'm not even going to say how many years ago, but I went to school in Las Vegas at UNLV with a restaurant and hotel major, and with a business minor. And from then, learned about my passion for wine as I got into restaurants, as I got into hotels, as I got into special events. I earned my sommelier license through the Court of Master Sommeliers. Really excited to just, engage my passion into restaurants and into people coming into the restaurant, to my staff and everybody else. And then from then I went on to the distributor side of the business. And then from then I went on to the supplier side, which is where I am now. I've worked for a couple different companies throughout the years, but Seven Cellars more specifically. Again, it was founded by John Elway. We're actually sitting in one of his Elway's restaurant steakhouses in Colorado, of which he has 4 of them for about 20 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So his passion was food from a long time ago, and he opened steakhouses, and about 10 years ago decided to have a wine company that complemented his steakhouses. His number through his entire career was number 7, which hence is the Seven Cellars. And throughout the time of having steakhouses, they created a Elway's Reserve Cabernet, which was exclusive to his restaurants. People loved it, wanted more of it, wanted it in different states. So we expanded our distribution from Colorado to different states like Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, We opened an e-commerce website. We started doing some really great social media. Now we have Amber kicking butt with our social media now. So it's been a really great ride. And then we introduced the farm collection about 2.5 years ago, right during this pandemic thing that we're going through. And the farm collection actually pays homage to John Elway's alma mater, which is Stanford University in Northern California. So that's what farm collection means to him. But for everybody else, it also means sustainably farmed, which all of our wines are all sustainably farmed, farm to table when you get into a restaurant, or if you order on e-commerce and you go home and cook your own meal, and then also just an assimilation of farms everywhere around Nashville, Chicago, Denver, wherever else. So that's kind of my background and a quick little snippet of the Seven Cellars.
That's awesome. We didn't know that they were sustainably farmed, which is even more reason why I think we love them then, because that's a cool part of the equation for sure.
I agree. And it's a big buzzword, being sustainable, being organic, being green.
Mm-hmm.
People do care about all these things from every level. And we've made the certifications to make sure that we were sustainably farmed. And we do have a vineyard out in Napa Valley, a very small vineyard that we source some of our reserve cab from, which is 100% organic as well too.
Very cool. So if you had to say, as far as because I was reading some of the information on how it all got started. So you guys partnered, or John Elway partnered with Robert Mondavi kind of on the first vintages?
It's exactly right.
Okay.
Yep. We started. So John knew nothing about wine, and he wasn't going to lie and try to make this up and smash the grapes himself or figure it out. So him being a smart person who's always had great teams and Super Bowl winning teams, and as a coach and as a player, knew that he couldn't do this himself. So he went out to California. He found a partnership with Robert Mondavi Jr., which is the grandson of Robert Mondavi, son of Michael and Isabel Mondavi. And he has a wine empire himself, but he also does a little bit of contracting for some friends, and they became friends. And he said he would be honored to make John Elway's wine. And Robert Mondavi Jr. is still our winemaker today through 7 vintages or 8 vintages now. No, 7 vintages, our 7th year. And it's really exciting because he brings a lot to the table, not only his name and his legacy, but he's just a really great person. He and John get along really well. They were actually just hanging out at our winery in Napa Valley about 6 months ago. They're good people, good friends, and they have an amazing, iconic collaboration that makes a great wine. And hopefully you're over there enjoying the Farm Collection Cabernet. So what are your thoughts on the Cabernet so far?
For me, it's nice, big, bold cab. I like big, bold cabs, and it's exactly what I feel I'm getting from this one. So I'm a happy camper right now.
Yeah, you definitely. I'm getting the salivating in my mouth. I get the tannins, and definitely want to go back for another drink. It's really, really good, and definitely could be enjoyed on its own. Or I could totally see this with a nice steak. Oh my gosh. Burger, but it's really delicious. And I think that what I love is that y'all's wines are they're still very affordable for the average everyday person. It's not just somebody that has money to spend $100 on a bottle. These are really good wines for the price.
Yeah, I agree, Kelsey. Thank you. And TJ, thanks for those nice comments and compliments on the Cabernet as well, too. And we wanted to be price conscious as well, too. Our reserves are a little bit higher, but those are single vineyard Napa Valley reserves. But the Farm Collection goes after your everyday drinker. It's $30 online. You can find them in liquor stores across country. We're in over 2,000 liquor stores, fine wine bottle shops, and package stores. And we're always running, promotions online, and we got some cool merch online and things like that. But yeah, I agree that cab is really just a nice everyday Cabernet. It's got some tannins rocking. It's got a lot of Cabernet, 77% cab, 14 months on French oak aging and American oak aging. So you get that big bulk of American oak and the really sexiness and silkiness of that of the French oak as well too. So it's not overpowering, but I agree with you guys both. It's a steak, it's a cheeseburger, it's a hamburger, and hence the whole collaboration partnership between the steakhouses and having a wine that complements the food.
Totally.
It's exactly what John had envisioned, and exactly what you guys just 100% nailed on the podcast too. So I'm glad you see it.
Yeah, and the cool thing about this cab too is like it's not like an alcohol bomb. You know, this
Yeah.
one's like I'm just reading it because it's at 13.8, which sometimes California cabs can be pushing almost 15 or something like that. So I love that it's not like all alcohol that I'm tasting. I'm tasting the dark fruit and
Yeah. I
so
agree.
props to you on keeping kind of the alcohol down on that one too.
Thank you. It's it's tough these days.
It is.
You can go high low, and people want to have a glass of wine and want to experience a little bit of a buzz while enjoying a beautiful delicious glass of wine. So you got to kind of have a medium point. I know Zinfandels are usually pretty hot, but you're right. We wanted to hit kind of a little bit of a sweet spot to where you have those rockin' tannins, you still have that velvety finish, and the alcohol didn't blow you away.
Mm-hmm. So on the bottle, I'm looking at the bottle currently. It says every bottle sold supports our veterans. Can you kind of go into that and what does that entail?
Absolutely. That's really awesome too, and I appreciate that. And when I know that you guys have the bottle in front of you, but when your listeners have a bottle too, it's a beautiful silkscreen gold embossed bottle with 3 labels. And like TJ said, the fact that we give back to our veterans. So we partner with a nonprofit organization called Team Rubicon, and they are a national nonprofit organization that equips ex-military veterans back into disaster relief and humanitarian crisis. Worldwide, sorry, not just America, worldwide. And they are an amazing group of people that devote their time to building houses, to helping out with earthquakes, hurricanes, any sort of natural disasters, building schools, all like I said, all around the world. And for every case that we sell, we donate right back to them. And for every case that we sell, it equals to getting 1 military veteran back into disaster relief and humanitarian crisis for a day.
Awesome.
Love that.
Very cool. Props
Yes.
to you guys for doing that.
That's great.
We really care about philanthropy, and I tell you what, now more than ever, it's all about giving back and being philanthropical and noticing and seeing people, helping them and doing the right thing. We could very well say, you know what, sorry, we're going to throw this on our bottom line. We're going to take away our give back. I'm sure you guys do, and a lot of people, a lot of your listeners, donate their time or donate their money. And it's really something that everybody should be doing these days. Everybody needs a smile on their face and a glass of wine in front of them, right?
Agree,
Yeah,
100%.
I totally agree with that. Like even on that note, you saying that, I think that there's joy that comes with giving back. And I really think that sometimes we lose touch of that, and it's easy in our culture. We're very individualistic, and I think it's easy to just be like me, 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 me. But I feel like there's so much more joy when you give back into our world. And yeah, and I love that you guys are doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you come to be a part of the Seven Sellers team?
Oh, great question. I appreciate that. So Jeff Spurbeck is John's best friend and sports agent partner for a long time, and just through a group of friends, you always got to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. You just kind of run through a pack, and we end up partnering with a couple meetings and some ideas, and he introduced me to John. I kind of gave him the vision of what I thought Seven Sellers could be as a company long term, not just within 6 months or a year. And we really hit it off. We've had a great time so far. I've been on board for almost 4 years now, and we've grown our business from 200 cases to almost 10,000 cases in that time span. So great people like you continue to talk about our wine and drink our wine. And like I said, hopefully your listeners will have an opportunity to purchase Seven Sellers as well too, or share it with some friends, family, whoever it is. But yeah, it was basically a friend group that got closer and just sparked a conversation and some interest. And 4 years later, we're still together.
That's awesome.
That's great. And I do have to give a nod to Amber, because we've really felt very engaged with Seven Sellers. And I don't know, Amber, if that's you that's been really talking to us a lot, but we've been really impressed by y'all's social media presence and your engagement overall, because just being honest, we've been doing this for 2 years, and we've been hired to do stuff for wineries and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the wine pages really struggle in terms of connecting with their audience. And I really feel like you guys have a nice social media presence and an engagement. And I think engagement it's the biggest thing when it comes to social media. People want to feel like there's someone else on the other end. And I feel like that with y'all. So
yeah, good job, Seven Cellars.
yes.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah, that was when I signed on. That was a big thing that I drove home with them. Is it's about building that engagement and community and putting a person behind the brand. And so thank you that's exactly my whole thing with the social media. So it's great that it's being seen, in a big
Totally.
way.
No, you're succeeding at your quest, because we've, like Kelsey said, like we've dealt with a lot of wine labels and wineries and stuff like that, and sometimes things just kind of fall to the wayside and they don't engage with people, and we see true engagement with you, and we really appreciate it, which makes us want to even engage more. You know what I mean?
Well, we appreciate the compliments, and right back at you guys. I mean, I think we were very impressed with what you guys brought to the table and your following and everything that you guys do. We listened to some of your podcasts and we thought, you know what, these are some people that we want to partner with as well too, with our brand. So kudos to you guys for having just such a great, dedicated and devoted following. And, love to hear how you guys started as well too. I mean, it's not all about Seven Cellars. It's it's a Nashville Wine Duo. That's that of the rock stars here. So we'd love to hear more about you guys as well too. And but we appreciate that. Yeah, Amber does a fantastic job, and we're gaining followers on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok every single day. And it's a social media world right now, and you just got to try to stay in the fast lane with everything.
Yeah, I personally think she probably needs a raise, so I'm for team Amber gets a raise. But I mean, I'm only, just a little voice in the corner, kind of speaking on that. But go, Amber.
Yeah.
The raise we're gonna do right now is we're raising a glass right now.
There you go. You want to start off with our story?
Our story. We started during the pandemic, really. Right before the pandemic hit. We were working at Trader Joe's in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was writing the wine order and Kelsey was writing the cheese order.
Wow.
And we came up with this bright idea to take pictures of wines that we liked that we bought at Trader Joe's, because we wanted to kind of tell our consumers that were coming into Trader Joe's, like, this is our pick. This is the one we like.
Yeah.
And from that, it just kind of sparked into meeting some influencers and stuff that were coming in the stores and that were shouting us out and everything. And it was just like this perfect storm, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the kind of thing where it didn't feel forced. It was just kind of like, okay, let's just start doing this for fun.
Very cool.
Because we wanted to keep learning more about wine. And, us going through this, the one of the best ways to learn is to just continue to taste and to taste everything and things that you normally wouldn't try. We saw a lot of that with customers. They'd come in and they have their mind really set on like, oh, well, I only drink California Cab, or I only drink this or whatever. And we're like, well, as we started tasting more and more, we're just like, now it's like, man, it's so fun to just continuously taste new things. And we wanted to bring that to people, and then also let them know, like, Trader Joe's is very similar to how Costco is in their model with how they sell stuff, and there's no middleman involved. And, they go to a pretty prestigious, winery or, family that has been in the wine industry for hundreds of years. We even know some that have been hundreds of years, and we sell their bottles at Trader Joe's, and they cut out the cost and they buy it all in bulk, and then they put our own label on it. So like 80% of the bottles at Trader Joe's you can only get at Trader Joe's. It's not just the ones that say Trader Joe's. So that's kind of why people get confused sometimes. But so yeah, you can get a $10.99 bottle that in reality is like $25 to $30, or even we've gotten a Barolo before that was like $20. In reality, it's like $60 plus. Sure. So we wanted to kind of like educate customers on that. And TJ had worked at the store for over 14 years, so he knew a lot of customers. And we met there and we got married, and then we just started kind of incorporating our personal life as well as wine. And then the customers started to kind of catch on, and they would come in and look for our wine picks. And then they would, it was kind of a word of mouth kind of thing. Everybody just kind of kept shouting it out.
From there, we started going down to northern Georgia and different areas around like southeast region where they're kind of doing some new wine stuff with hybrid wines and
pet nats.
and natural wine. So we would interview winemakers and stuff like that. And it's kind of just evolved into like, interviewing people in the wine industry, musicians that love wine, like this whole crazy thing that we never thought would even be happening
and then
right now.
Working in the wine industry, TJ is
so I'm a general manager of a wine bar here in Franklin, Tennessee now. So all of our wines are sustainably farmed, biodynamic and organic, and so we're getting to like educate your wine consumer that as much as we can, that hey, these wines are like really special, you know what I mean? So it's just, we love wine and we just want people to experience everything that this wine world has to offer, and just because you like a certain thing, kind of broaden your horizons and open up your mind to try different things. And like, we're at the point now where it's like, we'll try something just to get a profile on it and to say we've had it, and to put it in our memory bank of like, oh, I remember this is what that tasted like,
I remember that taste. And and I think the farming aspect of it too is so like interesting, and just how wine changes from like season to season and year to year, and like it's normal for it to taste different the next year than it was the year before, and it's okay for the color to be different than it was the year before. And you just don't know any of these things until you start to really get into it. And we had a winemaker one time tell us, like, once you think you know something about wine, you realize you know nothing, because it's just endless. There's endless information to learn about it, and that's because it's always changing. And I think that is so cool.
And I think the other thing too is Mother Nature. I mean, you get hail, you get rain, you get heat, you get everything in different vintages, which change your varietal characteristics, the way everything tastes. So what we try to do is we try to keep everything pretty consistent as far as a flavor profile. So even our reserves that we've had for 7 years, we've never had the same varietal composition. We've got about the same aging, but we've trying to keep our consistency, a flavor profile consistent. We've had to change our varietal composition to make sure that we have the same flavor. So if you like Elway's Reserve Cabernet one year and you're like, this is the best wine I've ever had in my life, when you have it the next year and we haven't compensated for certain, weather, shortages or grape shortages or anything like that, or any changes within the grape flavors, the varietal flavors, is you might go, oh, you know what? Really, I don't really like this one now. So I think consistency is a big thing as far as having a wine. There's definitely some big wine companies out there that do not keep it consistent, that just have a really great label and people drink it, no matter what. But I think when you drill down, TJ, to the shop, the place that you have, is you've got to have wine that tastes great. Bottom line is that if it does change a vintage and it doesn't taste good, then there's an issue. There's an issue with winemaking, the process, and kind of same thing for a lot of our winemakers, and even Rob and Mario, our other winemaker too. They always say that they're a scientist and a farmer before a winemaker. You really have to be true. You really have to know the terroir, and you got to be a chemist and know the right chemicals and the right aging and the right everything to really produce a great final product.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the vintages like, one vintage we love, and then the new vintage will come out, and it's like, it's like, it's a little disappointing, because you're so stoked that wine came back, and I just can't wait to have it. And then it's like, it's just not like this. Yeah, it's just not the same.
It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to keep something. You put more money into it to have a better quality, and sometimes we'll lose a little bit of money on certain vintages or varietals just to keep the quality up, because there's no reason to decrease the quality and scare off your customers, scare off your database. We've got a really loyal wine club that we have online, and we certainly don't want someone to all of our points is we don't want someone to say, ooh, I really don't like this wine anymore.
Right.
Yeah, actually, tell us a little bit about the wine club.
We got a really awesome wine club online. So we have 3 different levels, and you can get it monthly, every other month. You can get every quarter. You can choose red wines, white wines, or combo of red and white wines throughout the farm collection and the Elway's Reserve. So it's really kind of a hodgepodge, totally 100% customizable wine club that gets shipped right to your door when you join the wine club. So we've got different discounts and free shipping and things like that, so people can enjoy our wines on a regular basis. And we got a really great loyal wine club base, and it's growing every day, which is fantastic. And we're really proud of the people that we're really proud of making a brand and making a wine that people want to drink on a daily, weekly basis.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that can be found on the website, the Seven Cellars website, a link for that.
Yep, just the number
Awesome.
7 and then cellars.com, 7 CELLARS.com.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got to know,
Yes.
what is your favorite food item on John Elway's restaurant's menu?
Oh, yeah.
That's your go-to. Like if I go, like you're there, like I've got to have it because it's my go-to.
For me, I'm pretty boring. It's always the filet. the filet. It's prime beef. It's charred perfectly. It's got a little bit of that crust on the outside. Or else you go to New York and get a little bit of marbling and get some fat and get some juice out of that. But I always just love the 16-ounce filet and think it pairs perfectly with the Elway's Reserve Cabernet. And that's what John drinks. So John, his house wine at his house is his Elway's Reserve Cabernet, and they share that with their friends and their family as well too. John's got 4 kids and 9 grandkids, so he's building a family wine company. But I would say the filet is always a go-to. I'd say the New York strip is the backup. The steak tacos are amazing, and actually,
steak tacos.
Steak tacos are good. The fish sandwich, which is grouper, which is amazing. You really can't go wrong. I mean,
okay. You're making me hungry now.
I know. I was going to say, is this going to be a food and wine pairing podcast?
Yeah.
Are we on here now?
All right, Amber, what's your favorite?
Oh, I have yet to try, so I will be able to tell you.
Well, I think as a thank you, Dan needs to buy you some filet or steak tacos or something tonight.
Yep, me too.
Team Amber.
We can make that happen.
Well, next time. Sorry, go ahead. I couldn't hear you say that one more time.
Favorite wine from Seven Cellars is Chardonnay, though.
The Chardonnay.
Your Chard. Okay.
Chard girl.
Chard is good.
Yes. I was going to say, next time we are in Colorado, we definitely need to come to one of the restaurants and do another kind of segment. And we could get video that time because, so my family, I lived in Colorado Springs for 10 years.
Oh, very cool. All right.
Yeah, and my mom and dad just moved back. My family had moved us out to Nashville, and my mom and dad just went back to Colorado just because they've loved it since I was a child. And my dad's a fly fishing guide there now.
Awesome.
But yeah, I grew up Broncos, and John Elway was a big part of my childhood. So I love it. So we're visiting there a lot more now because obviously my parents are there, and then my sister's going to move back there. So next time we're in town, we really do want to connect with you guys and come to the restaurant and do more. So
what was that sports outdoor place that we went to that had like a robotic John Elway robot?
Shields.
Oh, Have you seen the John Elway robot in Shields?
He was talking.
Like
it's pretty cool.
It's really cool. Like I was like, what?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And he was a machine while he was playing, and now he's a machine talking in front of people at Shields.
Now I don't know who we need to talk to, Dan, but I think it'd be really cool if you could put a 7 Cellars bottle in his hand in Shields. Like just have him roboting with 7 Cellars, like with the football one hand, 7 Cellars. Come on, I'm a marketing genius. That's great.
Love it, TJ. You just gave me a little to-do list item. So good work. That's awesome. No, we can definitely, score that. So when you guys are in town, we'll either go to Shields and we'll do that. We'll make that happen live on a podcast.
That'd be awesome.
Or we
can pretend we're robots with John Elway with 7 Cellars.
Totally, Mr. Roboto. We can do a food and wine pairing. We'll grab one of the Psalms from one of the Elways, and we can do like a food and wine pairing, which would be really cool. We can do the filet, the fish. We can do the tuna tartare. We can do the shrimp cocktail. We can do all kinds of really cool, fun things with the menu and do a fun little food and wine pairing also. And
so what would you pair with the grouper sandwich?
Oh, definitely the Chardonnay, the farm Chard.
I was going to say Chard. Yeah, definitely a Chard. Grouper, man, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited.
Okay, so what cities are the restaurants in again?
So they're all in Denver. So we have one at the airport at DIA. We have
Okay.
one in Cherry Creek. We have one in Vail, and we have one downtown inside the Ritz-Carlton. So there are 4 locations for Elway Steakhouses in Colorado. We might be expanding to other cities, but right now we are sticking with these 4 for now.
All right. 4 is hot. 4 is good.
4 is hot.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of hot, it's got to be hot in Nashville right now, right?
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We loved Colorado when we were there.
Yeah,
it was
we were
like,
there, and it was amazing. It was so amazing. We were both even like, okay, do we need to move here?
I didn't take an allergy pill once.
Yeah.
I think it almost hit was it 95 today, maybe here, something like that. But it's warm. I know Nashville's warm. So Nashville weather right now is perfect for the Chardonnay.
Oh, very perfect for
It's just been so humid here. It's just been crazy, but we make the best we can. So yeah, but we thank you guys so much for doing this with us, and we definitely want to connect again in the future.
Yes. Cheers to Dan and Amber.
Yes.
7 Cellars. Check them out. We're gonna link all their website information, Wine Club, all their goodies to the podcast. So thank you so much, Dan and Amber, for hanging out with us.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Our pleasure. We really appreciate the invite, and next time we jump on, we'll be rolling into new vintages as well too, which we just rolled into a few new vintages on our website. So check those out as well too. And then we cannot wait to see you guys in person. Or hey, if it happens to be virtual again, we're cool with that. But we'd much rather see you, TJ, and Kelsey in person to make all that stuff happen that we just talked about. But thank you again so much for your time.
Let's do it. Cheers, y'all. Cheers to 7 Cellars.
Cheers.